Yes, first off, it really was a great show. And it's interesting. I typically don't like to attend partner and channel shows because there's not a lot of product announcements. But I'll tell you what, it was a great reaffirmation of the value proposition and Cisco's strategy. And seriously, hats off to Irene Mirages and Brenna Carr at Cisco for putting together a great program. I mean, I got access to pretty much every executive in the C-suite. Met a bunch of senior executives I had never met with face to face, like Jonathan Davidson, G2. It was truly incredible. Cisco CFO met with there. So a couple thoughts right now. So first off, the channel did great with Cisco. And the big focus there was getting partners and channel excited about some of the next generation opportunities that the company has, like software related to observability, related to security, and all of the as a service stuff like network as a service, and obviously WebEx collaboration, and really gearing their programs around it. But even during the pandemic, I mean, they grew 10% in 2022. Meraki was up 48%. Co-selling with hyperscalers up 400%. Success Tracks ACV up 330%. So Cisco is having a lot of success with the channel. And then Cisco CEO Chuck Robbins came up, and I got to tell you, I think I would buy anything from that guy. He oozes trust, he oozes credibility, and one of the things I loved is he didn't just come up and say, "Hey, these are all the areas where we are great." He went and he talked about areas that Cisco was falling short, and I absolutely love that. He puts himself out there, and what that does with the entire audience as his partners is it engenders trust. The other element is Chuck went through was the overall strategy, and here's the great part: the strategy that he laid out before the pandemic is exactly the same strategy as they have now. And enterprises, and quite frankly, the channel, they like stability. You still looking at me, buddy? You listen?
Yep.
Okay. And essentially, it was reimagining applications, where they sit, the type of applications, securing the enterprise as we're in more danger every day because of the nation state budgets that people have. Powering hybrid work, again, very, very future forward, leaning into this before the pandemic. And the final thing is transforming infrastructure, which has been Cisco's bread and butter for years, but doing it in more intelligent way. So, for instance, simplifying, right? I know Chuck had rolled this out before, but Cisco is hard, right? And there's some power to having command line interfaces out there with equipment, but customers want automation. They want cloud-based orchestration. They want a choice of consumption, whether that's cloud, on premises, or as a service. And finally, simplicity also talks about the experiences. And I feel like the customer success group that the company has stood up knows what they're talking about and has the right focus. So, not a lot of new product introductions, but again, a way to really point out what the company has announced over the last couple months, including AppD and Thousand Eyes integration. But one thing I want to point on that really, really stood out for me, and I'm talking about this a lot in some of my advisory, is I really thought that Cisco was out of this whole multi-cloud game, right? You have customers like HPE, you have Oracle, you have Dell, you have VMware, who've really been leaning into it. But there's this notion of a secure network as a service that has security and network fabric. And Cisco calls it their security cloud. So whether you're using Azure, Amazon, GCP, or private cloud, you can have a singular way to look at security network. Now, they're missing one thing, Daniel, which is a data fabric. Maybe Cloudera. I might have mentioned to a few folks that they need to align themselves with the data fabric customer. And I could see them as, if they can put this together, and most customers already have a Cisco switch as their core network switch. I think these folks have a shot there, particularly if they can find a way to integrate a data fabric, excuse me.
Yeah, you hit a lot there. And because we are in a speed round, I'll just make a couple quick comments and we'll keep it moving here. One is I agree with you about typically channel shows tend to lack the pizzazz. I think Cisco always does a really good job of providing executive access to top analysts. So I'm glad that you had that experience. I do think the company is in a pretty significant transformation from hardware-centric to software-centric. I think its focus on observability is maybe one of the best examples of that with what they're doing. You mentioned Thousand Eyes and AppD, but I think they're also making some smart decisions to help feed their channel, like what they did with the Cisco-Microsoft partnership. I think they understood where their software lied in the decision tree and how Microsoft Teams was at risk, and what a great opportunity to create TAM by layering their hardware, which, by the way, I'm using Cisco hardware right now on this video to participate in a call on a video on StreamYard. So congratulations to the team. Sounds like it was a great event. Hopefully calendars will align in such a way that I can be there next year. And I did take my eyes off you just a second, buddy, because I was trying to share on Twitter and LinkedIn this so all of our friends could join us that didn't know we were already on.